He can't give us the numbers just yet, but they did see more voter turnout during this election than they saw in the 2016 Democratic primary. Protesters had actually come up towards the campus. It has been blocked off by police. Check it out. They're moving in right now. We'll show you as they move in towards the protesters. Now, I was going to step in it to show you just how deep it is. I'm really glad I tested it with this tree branch first because, as you can see, that goes really far down. I had packed up my snow boots for the winter thinking that we were getting spring weather. Obviously, I was very wrong, but at least they're getting some love now. We've seen the floodings change pretty drastically, but for the better. Now, I want to bring your attention to some of these debris down here in the roadway. This is how far the water was up just in the past 25 minutes. We've been watching as it's quickly started receding. These people who are trapped in their hotel rooms because of the rising floodwaters out of their hotel rooms. If you take a look at just how high, you can see just over my shoulder, that's the propane tank that took firefighters and rescue workers 6 hours to get out from here. It's what it was battling. Oh, if you point our camera up, I think we can see it. Just now it's overhead. We're going to try to get you a shot of that chopper right now. What's your reaction to President Trump saying the emails on Hunter Biden's laptop is the second biggest political scandal in history? What about no face coverings in the classrooms?
Ma'am, you might want to watch the recording.
I know, set up to teacher discretion.
Our Christina Thompson has the first on-camera interview with Falwell's fitness trainer. It is a story you will only see on ABC 13.
Jerry Falwell's personal trainer, Ben Crosswhite, says years of scrutiny over a business deal between the two is catching up with him. Now he wants to set the record straight.
You know, they're making comments on Instagram and Facebook about my son and, you know, my wife and family. And, you know, that's when I start to take it more to heart. And it's really hard to look past that. So it's been hard. It has.
The deal itself happened back in 2016.
I wrote a pro forma, did a business plan, presented it to the board, presented it to the executives at Liberty.
According to federal law, as a private institution, Liberty was not required to seek out any other bids. The buyer-seller agreement shows Crosswhite purchased LU's tennis and gym facility for $1.2 million. That's the same price the building was assessed for, according to this report from the city of Lynchburg. The buyer-seller agreement shows Liberty also forked over about $646,000 in rent up front to reserve the rights to use the tennis courts for 9 years.
That's where they get that sweet deal from.
But Crosswhite says in hindsight, this deal was not actually so sweet. Liberty University still had claims to these tennis courts, their teams kicking off paying customers and using them free of charge.
And that means people weren't doing memberships annually. There was a lot of people that wouldn't do it when the tennis team was in session.
I reached out to 5 expert real estate lawyers across the area and asked them to look through all the documents surrounding the deal. Jim Gilbert, real estate lawyer of over 25 years, says,
I think it's naive to say that the gentleman got a sweet deal, and there are a number of reasons why. Number one, my understanding is that the building had some age to it.
The assessment report shows the building was built in 1973, making it 43 years old at the time Crosswhite purchased it. These financial documents from LU show the building had a whole slew of problems, and the university was losing $100,000 on it every year.
Now that they know that Mr. Falwell was involved, they're now looking at it through a lens of suspicion.
So why is this deal resurfacing in recent weeks? Crosswhite thinks it's an effort to connect him to the affair Falwell announced to the Washington Examiner between his wife Becky and a then 20-year-old pool boy, Giancarlo Granda, at a Miami hotel.
They want it to fit the bill. They want it to play into their narrative of me being the second pool boy kind of thing. And it's just not true.
Falwell resigned as president of Liberty University just days after he broke the news of his wife's affair. After his resignation, LU hired an outside group to investigate all real estate deals throughout Falwell's entire presidency at the school. According to officials at Liberty, this deal with Crosswhite would fall into the investigation because it happened during the time Falwell was president.
I welcome it. There's nothing that that's sketchy behind the transaction. It was a normal business, legitimate transaction, and I'm kind of looking forward to them putting that out there.
Liberty officials are not doing any interviews because this is an open investigation, but they did send me documents and statements made by the school in past years. All of them, LU officials stand behind the deal. I reached out to Jerry Falwell for a comment, but did not hear back. Reporting live in Lynchburg, Christina Thompson, ABC 13 News.
You are not receiving the benefits that you deserve. That's because the Virginia Employment Commission is backlogged by more than 5 months.
ABC 13's Christina Thompson investigates what's causing it and what needs to be done to help the VEC catch up.
Vincent Williams started drawing unemployment in March after he was let go from his job at Walmart during pandemic cuts. In June, he says he stopped getting those benefits because the Virginia Employment Commission had incorrect information that he quit instead of being let go.
If you don't get it, you're going to be evicted or put out on the street.
Williams sent this document from his old employer to the VEC.
It's the document from Walmart.
It shows he was let go and is in good standing, meaning Williams is still eligible for unemployment benefits. He's been fighting to get those back ever since.
Every time I call, it says leave a message. The mailbox is full, and that mailbox with this number has been full all the time.
Right now, the VEC is more than 5 months backlogged as they work through more than 70,000 disputes just like Williams's. I asked Joyce Fogg, a VEC representative, about this.
60% of those who are not being paid right now, which is a large number, were either terminated for cause or they voluntarily quit their jobs, which makes them ineligible.
So what about those people in the 40% who might have been flagged, but they should still be receiving these benefits? You say to call, but a lot of them can't get through.
Well, I know there have been some issues with that. We've had some problems with people getting through. They just need to keep trying to call.
Fogg says the backlog stems from a 35-year-old computer system that is struggling to work through the sheer number of disputes. The VEC did increase call center staffing from 72 to over 500 employees. Senator Steve Newman was instrumental in making this happen by pushing through a budget amendment that included more funding for the VEC. But he says it's still not enough.
Go into the session, pull the VEC before us, pull the Northam administration before us, and find out why this is just taking so long.
Without it, it's disaster, it's destruction.
So people like Vincent Williams can make it through these tough times. Senator Newman thinks this issue will continue well into next year as lawmakers work through it in January's session. Until then, the VEC tells me employees will continue working 7 days a week, including most holidays, to catch up.